Hello everyone, welcome again. Well, in this video, we are going to discuss about different logger levels. So following are the different logger level provided by Log4Net that are debug, info, warn, error and fatal. And from the name itself, you can understand when to use which level. So in order to generate the logging information for these levels, Log4Net provide the methods. So we have debug method which will generate the login information at debug level. Similarly for info, warn, error and fatal. So all this logger level have certain priority in which the fatal has the highest priority and debug has the lowest priority. Or in other words, I can say that fatal is at higher threshold and debug is at the lowest threshold. So if you remember in our console appender, we have set the threshold to level.all. So here we can specify that which level of logging information which we want to capture. So based on the priority, the logger will generate or store that level of information. So if I specify the threshold or priority at debug, it is going to store the debug, info, warn, error and fatal. Okay. If I specify the threshold at warning, so it is going to ignore all the logger level which have the priority less than warning, but include which have the priority equivalent or greater than warning. That means if I set the threshold to warning, it is going to log the logger level of warning, error and fatal, but ignore the info and debug. So here inside the threshold, first I will set the logger level to debug. Okay. So according to our priority chart, it is going to include all the logger levels whose priority is equivalent or greater than debug, which is debug, info, warning, for error and fatal. So if I run it, so output, so as you can see here, it has included all the level of logging information. Now as you can see here, it is also displaying the logger level, and this is coming because of your level conversion pattern. So this is directly referring to the level. Now here I am going to set the level to warning and again run it. So in this case, the debug and info have the priority less than warning. So it is going to ignore these two log events and it will store these three log events. So if I go to the output, so as you can see here, warning, error and fatal, and it has ignored the info and debug. Similarly, if I set it to fatal, so fatal has the highest priority, so it is going to ignore all the logger level whose priority is less than fatal, which is all these four. So if I run it, this time it is only going to capture the log which is generated by the fatal event. So as you can see here, and if I set the level to all, it is going to capture all the logger event, that is debug, info, warn, error and fatal. Okay. So depending upon what kind of information you want to generate, you need to use that type of logger level in your code. For example, if I know there is a try catch and it's very important to catch the exception, at that point I will use the logger.error level or logger.fatal. In some other case, I just want to generate a debug information to see that whether the data is getting generated proper or not. So there I will use the logger.debug. And some place if I just want to generate only some information or some warning, there I can use logger.info and logger.warn. Okay. So based on the requirement and based on the criticality of the information, you need to use the corresponding logger level in the code. So these are the different logger level provided by the Log4Net. And that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.